They said they had better things to do than show up to my wedding, so when their lives crumbled and they begged me to help, I remembered those exact words. I had better things to do too. My name's Elian, I'm 34, a senior QA analyst living in Seattle, Washington, the kind of city where the rain feels like a soundtrack to everything you never say out loud. Every morning, I brewed the same bitter espresso, took the same lurching 5:50 a.m. bus, and spent 10 hours behind glowing monitors in a cubicle that smelled faintly of burnt wires and cold ambition. I was the guy who remembered birthdays no one else did, the one who stayed late so others could leave early. My life wasn't flashy, but it was honest. What I didn't realize then was that honesty means nothing to people who only show up when it benefits them, people like my cousin Kieran, and the woman I was going to marry, Laurel. Kieran and I were raised like brothers. After my parents died in a car accident when I was 13, his family took me in. I owed them everything, or so I thought. Years later, when Kieran's app startup almost went under, I gave him a $20,000 bridge loan, no questions asked. When Laurel needed a job after being laid off during the 2023 tech bust, I pulled strings at my company and got her a senior offer. For my wedding, I invited only a small circle, just 25 people, close friends, and family, intimate, personal. A week before the ceremony, I got a text from Kieran. "Bro, I know this is last minute, but we booked a climbing trip in Costa Rica. It's been on the calendar forever, you get it, right?" Then Laurel added, "Honestly, Elian, let's push the wedding. It's just a party. We'll celebrate when life slows down." They were both gone by the weekend. No calls, no video messages, just silence echoing through a church that smelled like lilies and disappointment. I stood in front of everyone who did show up and smiled through it, like a man who hadn't just been gutted by the two people he loved most. But I didn't cry, not then, not in front of them. Because part of me already knew this wasn't the end. That morning was gray, almost cinematic. I waited at the altar in a fitted charcoal suit, hands sweating beneath cufflinks Laurel gave me for our first anniversary. The music paused, the whispers began. No bride. No best man. Just a priest looking at me with soft pity, like I was a kid who didn't know the rules of a game he was losing. My phone buzzed. "Laurel. I need space. Please understand. Not I'm sorry, not I'll explain, just space." I clenched the phone so hard it left an imprint in my palm, then I turned, nodded to the guests, and walked straight out the front doors. The drizzle hit my face like shame, but under it, something colder was rising, something sharper than sadness. Clarity. That night, I canceled the reception, called the venue, and got back almost half the deposit. I filed a petition to dissolve the marriage license before it even became official. No drama, no announcement. And then, I got to work. I bought a 15% equity stake in a struggling cloud optimization firm called Stratuscore, a company Kieran had once mocked in a pitch meeting. No one wants boring back-end tech, man. 6 months later, Stratuscore quietly acquired the remnants of Kieran's failing startup at auction after he burned through his funding. Laurel? She was laid off from my company after a department restructure I'd recommended. I never raised my voice, I never sent a warning. I just waited. 3 months later, I got the first voicemail. "Kieran. Hey man, listen, things kinda spiraled, can we talk? I miss you, bro, I really need some advice." Then a text from Laurel. "Elian, I don't even know where to begin, I made a huge mistake, please, just, can we talk?" A video chat request came in, I declined it. I watched as the messages piled up, each one more desperate than the last. Their crisis had arrived, their house of cards collapsed. And suddenly, I was the only person left standing. A month later, Stratuscore hosted a joint tech summit in San Francisco, live-streamed. Our keynote? Announcing the full acquisition and integration of Kieran's former IP under my direction. When I walked on stage, I didn't even glance at him sitting in the back row, pale and slouched. Cameras flashed, journalists whispered. "Isn't that Kieran's cousin?" Laurel watched the stream from her tablet. Someone forwarded me her reaction, stone-faced, empty. I ended my speech with just one sentence. Sometimes, loyalty has to be earned twice. but betrayal only needs once. Kieran filed for personal bankruptcy within weeks. Laurel moved back to her hometown in Vermont. She sent a 3-page email trying to explain how she panicked, how she still loved me. I never read past the first line. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. I learned that love without respect is just manipulation with prettier words, that family isn't blood, it's who shows up. And silence? Sometimes, it's the loudest justice there is. These days, I walk along Green Lake at sunrise, earbuds in, wind crisp on my skin. No drama, no betrayal, just peace. Takeaway? Forgiveness is powerful, but boundaries? Boundaries save your soul. Backhand index pointing down, tell me below, have you ever walked away from someone who didn't show up for you? Bell, don't forget to subscribe for more real stories that hit where it hurts and heal where it matters.